This is TB Talks and BS Walks. Join the conversation or the BS. Here are the masterminds behind the microphone, Tyler and Brian.
Welcome to TB Talks and BS Walks. Today it is just BS. That is all you're hearing right now. Tyler and I have yet to actually communicate this week. Our schedules have been kind of mixed up, so we haven't really gotten together for an actual recording day, so I'm just doing a real quick one, kind of pointing out a few things I've noticed this week, but not had the time to actually study up on, but just from an observer's point of view, have a few questions for you all. So, at the top of the list is we have, I'm sure everybody's heard about Trump calling certain countries an expletive. Let's just put it that way. He called it a horrible place, just with less couth. Basically, that's what we have heard from a third party. So we don't know if it's true or not. And so my question ends up being, though I'm, almost sure that he probably did say something like that, do we take the word of the media simply because they said they heard it from somebody who wasn't even a part of the meeting? What the problem is that I have right now is what I have heard is the media say that they heard through somebody else who wasn't in the meeting with him say that Trump said these countries, why do we need to take these people from these blank countries? Now, do we need to lose our minds over this because it was a third party? Like, I don't even know if it's right to call them third party information. Like, I don't know if this person actually knew anybody who was in the meeting. Again, haven't looked this much up. But, this being the first part of the show, and my first question to you all, that I would love you to leave your questions down in the comments, or your ideas. Is it right that we should be so crazy about this when we don't know for sure if he actually said any of it? I know he probably did, but we still have yet to have it actually confirmed. We've had it, denied several times by both Trump and those who were in the meeting, saying that he didn't say that and that it was misconstrued, but he must have said something close to it. But still, is that any need for us to start losing our minds about what he may have called the country? Like, again, he's not known for his subtlety or his censorship. He will say whatever he wants. He's just that forward of a person, that blunt of a person. So, I don't know. I feel like we're just ready to be mad at him for anything. So even if we don't have the truth, we'll still grasp onto anything that may point him out as, rough around the edges, or a horrible person, or however you want to call it. We're just so desperate to get him out, or so desperate to be mad at him all the time, that even from a third-party source that wasn't even in the meeting tells the media what he said, supposedly, and everybody loses their mind. So, leave your comments below, kind of let us know what you're thinking about that. I really don't know, I just think we're just so on edge to jump over or on anything that this man says, when really all you have to do is look at Twitter, guys. We don't need the media to tell us what he says. We can see it every day when he posts it on Twitter. So, that's just my thought. So, I mean, that was earlier in the week, this week, because I should be posting this shortly after I finish recording. So that was earlier this week. It's Thursday today. I've got like an hour before work. So I'm just trying to kick this out real quick so you guys have something to tide you over until Tyler and I can get our schedules meshed out. I'm sure Tyler will probably post something of his own here soon. He doesn't know I'm doing this. I'm kind of doing this on. I'm going freestyle, Tyler. I'm going freestyle. Sorry. It's hard to get everything meshed together when you live in different states. So, next thing on the deal I wanted to talk about. I know this is going pretty quick. But there's just a few things that I wanted to jump on here and kind of tide you all over until Tyler and I got back together and did our normal podcast. So there's just a few things I've noticed this week, like I've said, that I want to point out. Aziz and Sorry, I know some of you, if not everybody, has heard by now. It's only been like 2 days. About Aziz and Sorry now being, I don't know how to put it, accused of rape? I don't know if that's entirely accurate. Like I said, a lot of stuff I haven't been able to look up on and see how crazy it's gotten. When I first heard it, that's the direction it was heading. Was he took this girl out, they had a nice dinner, one thing led to another, which is the old excuse, and the next morning he received a text message saying that she was uncomfortable and that he kind of pressured her into this. Now, I must be crazy. I feel like I am becoming too old for our society. I feel like the phrase back in my day has been leaving my mouth a lot more recently than it used to, and I'm only 30. So it's kind of weird to hear about this, that now, in the dating world, if you leave whoever you're with right now and try to date someone out there, if they have regrets or second thoughts after the fact, you can now be accused of rape. Now, I don't know. That's where it was heading when I heard it. And that is my concern. Like, how long until it is that? Right now, it's still up in the air about what they're going to do, to my understanding, but that's the way it was heading. If it actually achieves that goal, then what? I don't know how people are going to survive the dating world now. Like, it was different, again, in my day. A guy would take a girl out. The way I was raised, a guy would take a girl out. He would be chaperoned. Or there would be a friend of his there, so trying to make sure that nothing wayward happened. And then the guy would take the girl home. That's the way I was raised. There was no add-on to that. But during my generation, it was different. A guy would take a girl out. They'd go to a movie. They'd go back to the house, start making out. One thing would lead to another, quote, unquote. And, so, something would come of that night. But the next day, they didn't receive a text message saying that they basically pressured him into him and then raped him. That didn't happen. Like, it was kind of one of those things. That's why the excuse, one thing led to another, kind of came about being. Was because you got caught up in the moment. Now, this may be blunt of me. I may be taking a Trump role here and being a little too blunt. And normally I try to play devil's advocate, but Tyler's not here because I just kind of did this on the fly. So I have no one to play devil's advocate to. So, yeah. No, I'm just going to say what I'm thinking right now. And that is, in a rape situation, you're not caught up in the moment. You're able to say no. Normally able to scream. Sometimes, yes, I understand that rape is a taboo situation where anything could happen. You could be gagged. I understand all of that. But what I'm saying is, if somebody takes you out to dinner and takes you to a movie and you guys end up making up and clothes fall off, is it then all right to claim rape later because you were caught up in the moment then and now you're uncomfortable about it? Like, in a rape situation, you don't have that choice. Like, it is just straight up rape. You didn't want it. It's obvious you didn't want it. You fought it the whole time and it still happened. that's rape. If you're there and you're making out with the guy and the clothes come off and then you feel guilty or regret it later, that's not rape, that's just regret or your conscience. Like, that's just my opinion. Like I said, if Tyler were here, I'd probably be playing the devil's advocate. But really, I mean, just in saying it, I don't see how I could. Because there's just so much to a rape case, to things that happen during rape, that don't apply to a dating situation. So, in my personal opinion, this kind of went too far. Like, our society is getting a little too crazy. When somebody can be accused of forcing someone else into a sexual encounter after the fact. Like, after the fact. Like, during that moment. During the things that were happening. At one time, did you ever say no? Did you ever say, I don't want to? I don't feel like it? When did I have a headache not become a good enough excuse not to have sex? Again, this is just my opinion. Leave your comments below. Call me whatever you want. Or agree with me or disagree with me. I want to know how this seems okay to people. So if this seems all right to you, that this girl is saying that Aziz Ansari now raped her or forced her into a position or anything like that, then please leave it in the comments below. Alright, you may not know it, but I just edited and shortened out like 12 minutes because I had to talk to my son real quick. But to the case at hand, like I said, if you have any disagreements or if you agree with what I'm saying, put it in the comments below. If you disagree, please explain your situation and explain your stance. Because I don't understand. I may just be too old-fashioned, old-timey, I don't know, back in my day type of thing. But if you have a legitimate reason why this seems okay, then please leave it in the comments below. Help me understand. But if you don't, then maybe I'm right. Maybe, this is something that as an adult you should know. Like, if you don't want it to happen, don't put yourself in the position for it to. Like, and that doesn't apply to rape. That applies to the dating situation where a night of frivolous love can happen. Whatever you want to call it. If you do not want to have a sexual relations with the person you're dating, then don't put yourself in the situation where it possibly could happen because you get caught up in the moment. See what I'm saying? Like, if one thing leads to another, maybe not go and do that one thing so that it doesn't lead to the other. And then not text afterwards and tell them that they forced you into it. They didn't force you if one thing led to another. Or if it was a good night and everything's flowing and you never said, I don't feel like it. I don't think you have a place to claim rape afterwards because they don't want it to happen. And they're constantly fighting that. So, I'm just saying, that's my opinion. Leave it in the comments below. Call me whatever you want. We'll have an argument. It's great. So, there we have Trump's little deal in his little office where he said something that we're not really sure if he actually said it or not. We're pretty sure he did because he says stuff like that all the time. But we're not sure if he went that far because we got it through a third-party site. Now, is that important or not? Leave it in the comments below, whether it was from a third party or not. We have Aziz Ansari, another Hollywood actor, being accused of sexual assault. But to me, if it goes the way it was going when I last heard it, it seems like we're going to have a problem in our society where anybody can be sued for anything simply because you have regrets about it the next day. I don't think that's right. I don't think rape can be claimed on somebody who, in a dating situation, ended up having sex. I don't think it's right to claim rape the day after when there was no refusal, there was no no's, there was no maybes, there was no I have a headache. That's my opinion. Leave your comments below. Is our society really headed that way to where regrets can now permanently affect another individual? like I said, I need to read up a little bit more on what happened to Aziz Ansari, but from where I stand and the information I had at the time, this is what I'm thinking. This is what I'm fighting with here. Leave your comments below. Kind of straighten me out. Get me on the right path, get me on the right focus, or agree with me, or do whatever. But leave your comments below. Let's get some interaction here, and teach me a lesson. I'm up for learning. I was hooked on phonics at one time, so I'm capable of learning and reading. So let's do this. All right. Finally on the agenda, Brian's moment. BM that requires no medication. Okay, so we've got a few games that have been titled to release in 2018 that we're really looking forward to. We got Red Dead Redemption 2. I don't know what all entails. The new trailer looked pretty good, but it still really didn't explain how the online's going to work or anything like that. It looked like you could get a posse or you could be part of a bandit group and kind of have that turmoil in the Old West. You could be a trapper, you could get a specific job. We'll see. Red Dead Redemption 2, looking awesome. Shadow of the Colossus, coming out on PS4 here soon. I love Shadow of the Colossus. It's one of my favorite games. I was excited to find out that one of my favorite YouTubers is one of his favorite games as well. If you want to take a look at this game before it comes out and see if you really want to buy it, if you didn't see it when it came out on PlayStation or PlayStation 2, go ahead and take a look at Jacksepticeye. I'm sure a lot of you have heard of him on YouTube. He's a big Shadow of the Colossus player, loves the game, went back and redid it, did 2 Colossus per video, so you can kind of see what it looks like from there. It's coming back with updated graphics and gameplay, so that things should work a little bit smoother than it did on the original PlayStation. At least that's the rumor. So definitely take a look at that. So we got Red Dead Redemption 2. We got Shadow of the Colossus for PS4. It's exclusive. Both games are definitely worth a delve into looking at. Just Red Dead Redemption was awesome. I really enjoyed the game. It was a little grittier than I expected, so it was hard for me to watch sometimes, but overall fun game. So the second one should be outstanding. I'm hoping. I've been disappointed before. BioWare. Sorry. So we got those coming out. Anthem, it was scheduled to be released, and then they thought it was going to be canceled, and I found out recently that they hired the main writer for Mass Effect, the original Mass Effects. So my excitement has been reignited for Anthem. I'm looking forward to that. That is an Xbox exclusive, Xbox One X and Xbox One, I do believe. So that's exciting. What I've spent a lot of my time playing is Warframe, which is a free game for Xbox One, PS4, and PC. You can spend money on it, but it's not a pay to win. I can pretty much guarantee that because on my PlayStation I haven't spent one dime on that game. Can't say that about the Xbox, but about the PlayStation, I haven't spent a dime. So that's exciting. Definitely take a look at it if you just want a free game that's kind of just... It's a lot of... I don't want to use the word repetitive because people immediately turn off when you say that. It's like Horde mode from like Gears of War. You have a defense mission where you stay in one location and defend yourself against waves of enemies. You have a... excuse me. You have like intercept missions. You hold 4 control points for a certain amount of time. You have capture missions where you have one specific target that you have to go and capture. You have Arcwing missions, which are space battles, basically. You're not in a ship. You're still in your Warframe, but you're flying around space and fighting, in 4-dimensional plane. So Warframe is definitely a good game if you just want to kill time. It's addictive. A few friends of mine and I are playing constantly. So we're on there all the time. You can see it on my Twitch channel. It's Coden Riley. I think it's Coden_Riley. But if you want to see what Warframe looks like, catch me up there. Catch me on there. Sorry. Catch me outside. Anyway, Warframe Wednesday is what I play on Twitch, and that's what we have Warframe right up and ready to go. If you guys want to see what that looks like, see us there. Tyler is playing PUBG, which is PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds. He's been caught up in that game, just as addicted to that as I am to Warframe. So he's been working on that a lot. He's been wanting me to play. It's not my style of gameplay. I am planning on getting it, but it's not one of those games that I'm going to constantly go back to. That particular of gameplay and game style, same with Fortnite. They're good games, do not get me wrong. They look beautiful, but with my temperament, nobody wants to see me mad, okay? Let's just put it that way. I am not a good-looking, angry person. Like, I'm like the 12-year-old throwing a tantrum, angry type person. So I tend to avoid games that put me in that position. But PUBG, PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, is an awesome game. Looks great. The idea is solid. I just couldn't get into it. I'm too competitive. I try to bury that competitive part of me, and it doesn't work out too well. So, if you want to see what that looks like, you're definitely going to have to YouTube it, because I don't have a recording of Tyler playing it. I don't know if he actually streams it yet or not. I don't know if he set up his stream channel yet. He had talked about it, but I don't know if he actually got it up and running. Yeah, so that's another thing. Now, I know Tyler covered for me 1 week because they had an interview with our Twitter manager, basically, Matt Yockey. And he's trying to become a professional golfer, which, good luck, Matt. We're all rooting for you still. Hoping that works out. But he did that, and I wasn't there for that one. So I figured I'd cover this one. And then hopefully we'll be back together next week. We should have a stream up, a podcast up on schedule next week. So hopefully we can get that together. Right now it's, you just got me to listen to. And hopefully I didn't make you all too mad. But thank you for joining me today. I gotta stop saying That is a horrible habit. And like. Those two words just... I'm like 3 steps away from becoming a Valley Girl. For those of you who are too young to remember what Valley Girls are, I have no decent explanation. So, thank you for joining me today. I did it again. Okay. Hope to see you all next time. Tyler should be joining me. We should have another podcast up. Have a good one. I'm out.